Hi, American English learners like me. What makes meeting today? What makes meeting today? Today, in 2 hours walking 10 kilometers, I learn, I memorize this 3-4 sentences. Okay, I started. I'm going to start. That makes meeting I just copy people in conversation. This Christine talking with John, I think John. Christine talk with Joe. Christine. Then makes meeting. That makes meeting. When we moved, we were living in Michigan. At the time, we considered it is north. But actually, it is north of the Midwestern. It is the north of Midwestern states. At the time, we always considered it is north, but actually, it is north of the Midwestern states. But then moving to a southern state, but then moving to a southern state, I definitely had a northern accent, I definitely had a northern accent. And some words I used were different, like pop for soda. Now listen a native speaker. It is from Learning English. It is some part from learningrealenglish.com by AJ Hodge.
That makes me think, when we moved, we were living in Michigan. At the time, we always considered it the North, but actually it's the north of the Midwestern states. But then moving to a southern state, I definitely had a northern accent, and some of the words I used were different too, like pop for soda. That makes me think.
That makes me think. That makes me think, Christian native speaker said. That makes me think. 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 I of course, I would never say like that, but it is the reason why I learn like that, because acquisition of language don't mean memorize, but mean acquisite. memorize is for short time, acquisite is for all life. And where is difference? When you repeat 1, 2, 3, 10, maybe 100 times, it is memorization. But if you repeat 1 million times, it is for sure acquisition. Because language is that. Language is repeating and repeating all life without hurry, all day, 24/7, 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days. And because of that, it is some part of the language, acquisition language, child acquisite language. And if we can solve, but formula is very simple. Repeat some sentence 1 million times and for sure it would be acquisite for all lifelong. And I learn like that, but of course I don't repeat 1 million, but repeat maybe this part of the conversation. I repeat today 2 hours, and again tomorrow again. But listening 4 days, I have been listening that 4 days for 4 days, and starting acquisite, what means I started talk, I start repeat today, and maybe repeating in 2 hours, I don't know, maybe 100 times, and tomorrow again, and tomorrow again. If I repeat it 1,000 times, it would be acquisite, in my opinion. Okay, go back. This part is especially interesting and surprising me, that pronunciation. He makes, that makes me think. That makes me think. Meeting. It is like meeting, if I said g, but it is meeting, think, meeting. I interested how Google would translate it, that my pronunciation and that pronunciation of native speaker.
That makes me think, when we moved, we were living in Michigan. At the time, we always considered it the North, but actually it's the north of the Midwestern states. But then moving to a southern state, I definitely had a northern accent, and some of the words I used were different too, like pop for soda.
I will read it now. That makes me think. When we moved, we were living in Michigan. It is interesting that the conversation is a special kind of grammar and you see, that makes me think, it is feller. When we moved, then correct yourself, correct herself. We were living in Michigan. At the time, we always considered it the North. But actually, that T is last letters in but. It is letters T. Around T is 2 vowels. And because of that, but actually, it is not good, my pronunciation, but it is D, but from deep throat, but actually, but actually, but actually, but actually, but actually, but actually, but that, but rec- but re- but actually, but re- but actually, but rec- but rec- 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 but actually, but actually, but actually, but actually, it is the north of the Midwestern states. Of, not in American is not of, but of the Midwestern states. And I spoke slowly, and I exaggerate some new pronunciation for me. Exaggerate of, but when I would know faster pronounce, it would be it would be very hard to see does it what I pronounce, except native speaker know what I pronounce and see my accent and and that I try imitate and copy native speaker, but it is only copy. But actually, it is the north of the Midwestern states. But then, moving to southern state, I definitely had a northern accent, and some of the words I used were different too, like pop for soda. That make that makes meeting that makes meeting. I know one word for the region. I need a lot of time that I must a lot of time repeat region that I accusate that word, that pronunciation. Um, and it is same like here. I must repeat it thousand times that I accusate that pronunciation, that complete accent of that part. That that makes meeting. That makes meeting. That makes meeting. If Google heard that k on the end, maybe it would be good translate in subtitle. Uh, that makes me think when we moved, we were living in Michigan. That makes me think it is present because she think this moment now. She talk, make conversation and talk now, and she think now. That makes me think when we moved, and makes thinking about past simple. When we moved, I was, but thinking on family. We were living is continuous, past simple plus continuous. It is past continuous, and we see that when we moved, we were living. It is same sentence. When we moved, past simple, we were living, past continuous. We were living. Living was something what was long time, repeating and repeating, but moved is one moment, and it is we moved. When we moved, that is event, one event moved. We moved. When we moved, we were leaving. Okay. in Michigan. At the time, we always considered it. It is interesting. At the time, we always considered. When we said, but at the time, because at the time, we always consider it. It is contradiction is here. Always, always. At the time, is at first moment it is something like at the moment. But at the time is long time, not at that time. At the time is different from at that time. At the time, that it means longer because of meanings. We always consider it. Always is something longer, not one moment. Always consider it, but consider it is fast simple. With always, if we didn't say at the time, if we have only, we always consider it, we would say, we always had considered it. We always had considered it. Past perfect. After that, had considered it the north, but actually it is the north because we have a sentence in present. I was wrong. At the time, we all without at the time, we always have considered it. Present perfect. We always has considered it the north. But actually, it is the north. Now, she said it is the north of the Midwest of the States. But then moving to a southern state, but then moving to southern state, but then moving, that moving is very interesting. It is part of, it is only part of the times of verb. It is have been but then moving to southern state. I definitely had a northern accent. It is past simple. I definitely had a northern. But then moving to southern state, I definitely had a northern accent. We would not know timing without I definitely had a northern accent. But then moving, moved is a moment, is event, and there is no continuous time. But here, moving, it is something as adjective. But we moving, but then moving, it is like in Croatia we call it verb adjective, adjective, verbs adjective, moving. We are moving. We are moving is. But then moving to northern state, then moving to a southern state, I definitely had a northern accent. And some of the words I used were different, and some of the words I used were different. Some of the words was different too, like pop for soda. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.